My mother-in-law called the school and told them I hadn't fed my diabetic daughter in 2 days. 15 minutes later, 2 police officers were waiting for me at pickup. I stood in the parking lot holding my daughter's backpack while an officer asked me questions about insulin logs I'd never missed. My daughter, Mia, 7 years old, watched from the classroom window, confused, pressing her palm against the glass. My mother-in-law, Carol, stood behind the officers with her arms crossed, her face arranged into practiced grief. "I warned my son this would happen," she said loud enough for the whole pickup line to hear. "She's careless. She's always been careless." The officers checked Mia's blood sugar. Normal. They checked her lunch records. She'd eaten at school both days. Still, Carol demanded a welfare check on my home. And because my husband was overseas on deployment and couldn't be reached, the school notified Child Protective Services out of caution. A caseworker was assigned within the hour. That night, my phone filled with messages from people I loved. My sister-in-law wrote, "Carol says you've been starving her. Please tell me that's not true." My own mother called crying, asking if she needed to fly out and take Mia herself. I sat on the bathroom floor scrolling through 6 months of insulin logs, glucose readings, pharmacy pickup receipts, trying to build a wall out of paperwork before the caseworker arrived in the morning. The caseworker was polite, but thorough. She opened my refrigerator, checked the pantry, read every page of Mia's medical binder. She asked Mia gently if Mommy ever forgot her medicine. Mia shook her head so hard her ponytail swung. "Mommy sets an alarm," she said. "She never forgets, not even on my birthday." The caseworker closed the case within a week. No neglect found. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Carol didn't apologize. She escalated. She filed for emergency guardianship, claiming my husband's deployment left Mia in an unstable environment and citing the CPS report, leaving out that it had cleared me completely. A hearing was set. I hired a lawyer with money I didn't have and spent 3 sleepless nights organizing every document I owned. At the hearing, Carol sat with 2 of her church friends as character witnesses, dabbing her eyes, describing a granddaughter she claimed was wasting away. My lawyer asked for the pharmacy's dispensing records. They showed insulin picked up on schedule, every single refill, for the past year. Then he asked for Mia's school attendance and nurse visit logs. Perfect attendance. Never once flagged for a medical issue. Then he asked Carol a question that made her friend's smiles falter. "Mrs. Whitfield, isn't it true you contacted an estate attorney 6 weeks ago to inquire about establishing yourself as your granddaughter's legal guardian in the event of your son's death benefits?" Carol's face went still. My lawyer slid a printed email across the table. One her own paralegal had accidentally CC'd to my husband's old family group thread months earlier, back before anyone knew what it meant. It named a life insurance policy. It named Mia as sole beneficiary. It named Carol as the proposed guardian of that money until Mia turned 18. My husband was still deployed in a combat zone. Carol had been positioning herself in case something happened to him, not out of love, but out of control over what would follow. The false neglect report wasn't concern. It was the first move in taking my daughter, and the money attached to her, out of my hands entirely. The gallery went silent. Carol's friends stopped dabbing their eyes and started gathering their purses. The judge dismissed the guardianship petition and ordered a formal investigation into the original CPS complaint, including whether it had been filed in bad faith. I should have felt triumphant walking out of that courtroom. I didn't. My husband called from a satellite phone that night, static crackling between his words, and I had to tell him his mother had spent weeks trying to prove I was unfit so she could stand between him and his daughter's future. He went quiet for a long time. Then he asked me not to keep Mia from her grandmother completely. She was still the only family he had left besides us. I haven't decided yet. Some nights I think forgiveness is possible. Other nights I remember Mia pressing her hand against that classroom window, not understanding why strangers were suddenly deciding whether she'd go home with me. I don't know which version of Carol my daughter deserves to grow up knowing.